Okay. I'm Jared Stein. I'm director of the Innovation Center with Distance Education. We're formerly known as the Technology Enhanced Teaching Center. So you're probably recognizing these guys next to me. Mark Hugentobler, Assistant Director, and Carlos Delarco. In a little bit, we're going to invite some of your colleagues up to share some of the things that they've been doing with Canvas. Now, the Innovation Center, we support any and all faculty at UVU with anything that they want to do to improve teaching and learning, especially with technology. In addition to our faculty technology lab, which is over in the library and is open Monday through Friday and Saturdays, we offer one-on-one trainings and consultations, group workshops on a wide variety of topics, including Canvas, but also hybrid teaching, motivating students, using Web 2.0 tools, and so on.
And you said we had expanded hours, right?
That's right, that's right. Yeah, we're even open into the evenings. Can we get the PowerPoint up on the screen here? If you want to learn more about the workshops that we're offering, especially Canvas workshops this fall, you want to check out our website, which is uvu.edu/innovation. You got that up? Not sending out.
Or not.
Great.
That's because
Thank
we're
you.
the technology people.
We're the technology people. So today we're going to talk about Canvas. It is the new learning management system. It's available to everybody this semester. Right now, you can go into Canvas, see all of your courses, and all of your students will be synced from Banner. If you're not comfortable moving to Canvas yet, that's okay. Blackboard is still around, but Blackboard is going away at the end of December. So this fall is the last chance you'll have to use and appreciate Blackboard.
So get it while you can.
Get it while you can. Now, not everybody is happy that we're moving from Blackboard to Canvas. In fact, some people
are here, though.
Yeah, none of these people are here, but some people are a little bit afraid of the change.
So if you've been using Blackboard and you're worried about it, there's no reason for that, because all of the core functionality that you've become accustomed to or that you like is still there in Canvas. We've got all these tools based on the fundamental interactions that you want to have between you and your students and their fellow students are all still there. And even more, you'll have some enhanced functionality that I think you'll like and that we'll talk about as we go forth in the presentation.
Yeah, we're going to show you a little bit of that today. Now, we think the best way for you all to get training on Canvas is in a hands-on scenario. This isn't exactly ideal, but we're going to give you kind of a bare bones overview that highlights some of the best features of Canvas and should give you enough orientation so that, if you're daring, you can go out and start on your own, or you can just come into the lab and get some more help. Now, for fall semester, you're going to want to make note of this address, learn-uvu.uen.org. This is the location of the Canvas server. This is hosted by the Utah Education Network, and this is where you'll go to log in. If you're going to use Canvas this fall, you've got to share this URL with your students as well, okay? Because this is how they're going to access it. Now, come spring, and perhaps earlier, everybody will be able to log into Canvas through UV Link. But until then, you're going to have to go directly to the Canvas server.
This is a dangerous middle ground, right? Everybody's standing on the fence. So what I've recommended to instructors to do if they are using Canvas, go into their Blackboard course, don't enable anything, just say, I'm using Canvas, put a link to Canvas there, and that will direct them to the proper place.
Okay. Well, we're ready to give you a little show and tell. There we go. We're going to role play a little bit here. Mark is going to be the teacher. Carlos is going to help us out and be the student as we work through some real common and basic things in Canvas. Now, Mark has gone to learn-uvu.uen.org, and it looks really familiar. It is, can we pull the screen back up? It is your standard UV Link login screen. And when he logs in, this is just going to bump him into Canvas, and he'll see his communication stream and his list of courses.
Oh man, you saved my password. Dog.
That's power for me.
That's right. So when I first come in, you'll notice right away that things don't look quite like you might expect, which is okay, right? So the very first thing that you'll see when you come into Canvas is what's called the course stream or the activity stream. And that is all of the things that have been changed since you were recently. And so you can look through those things, and as you scroll down and you investigate what's going on, you could link to any of these things and just go in there. Also, one of the features that I think is really important for students mostly, but also for you, I feel like a rock star with all that, feedback. That's really nice. That's right. There's two lists that will show up on the side of the screen, on the right side of the screen. And that is the to-do list, any date-based activities that are happening this week will show up in your to-do list. That happens for everybody. For instructors, it'll be stuff like you need to grade this, or you need to look at these quizzes, or whatever it is. And for students, it'll be, well, you need to turn in your assignments, or you need to go look at this discussion, etc. So it's relative to who you are, but it is there for everybody. Likewise, for coming up, those are date-based events in the course, all the courses, that are happening next week. So you get this kind of constant reminder of all the things that need to be done. And so that's kind of going to keep everybody engaged in what's happening in their course.
Yeah, this is an example of how Canvas really does a great job of connecting students and teachers with the activities in the course. Another way that will help them stay on top of this is through the global calendar. Now, each course that you have can have any number of assignments with associated due dates. The global calendar in Canvas is going to show any upcoming due dates for any of the courses that students may be enrolled in, or for you as a teacher that you may be teaching. So here you can kind of see an overview of the calendar with all of the different courses there on the right-hand side, and there's an upcoming due date for, actually that's from Friday of August 5th. But you can add new events from this screen. Students can add their own personal reminders. If you want to use a different calendaring tool like Outlook, this actually produces a feed that you can bring into your Outlook calendar as well, or Google Calendar, a whole lot of different calendars.
Excellent. Now also we need to look at is your profile. If we click on profile, this is where your personal information is basically situated in Canvas. Now the great thing about Canvas is you can actually add separate emails. If we look down there under email addresses, by default it links to your main UVU account. But below that you can actually add any other email. And you can also add a phone number for text messages if you wish to receive notifications from Canvas to your phone. Below that there's also some web services you can connect to, things like Google Docs, Twitter, Facebook, etc., that your teacher may or may not use.
Yeah, I think a lot of students are really going to like that Canvas can send notifications not only to their personal email account, but to their Facebook or Twitter accounts as well.
Definitely. I wanted to do that to all of mine.
Okay, so one thing that you've got to do in Canvas is tell it when and how you want it to notify you about certain course events. From Profiles, you simply click on Notifications on the left. And here you'll see a long string of different kinds of course activities, and you can choose what method you want Canvas to notify you through and how often you want those notifications to come. So, for example, if you're a student and you want to be emailed every time a due date is changed, you can do that here. You can change that here. If you want to get, let's say, a text message, if a new assignment comes in, you can change that as well. So you have full control over how Canvas notifies you and how often.
So which one do I use? Do I have to sing into this one? One of the things that I think is cool about it is that the person chooses what method they want to be communicated or what used to communicate, and then how often. So the likelihood is that that's the thing they're going to check, right? So we're all engaged in what we're doing. So it's, every time they see that, they're going to probably check back in. I think that Jared already had.
Let me share a little anecdote about how this has worked for me. So I get the chance to teach an online class most semesters, and this semester I was using Canvas. I have a project that's due at the end of the first week. Now, is that feedback? I don't know. Okay, so I have a project that's due at the end of the first week. Come Saturday, I go into Canvas, I'm doing my grading. I notice that 5 students haven't turned it in. So I just give them a 0, right? But what Canvas does is it automatically notifies those students that they have a new grade and that it's a 0. So honestly, within 2 hours, all 5 of those students had contacted me said, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Stein, I forgot. Oh, I didn't know it was due today. Could I still turn it in? Well, for me, yeah, of course. I mean, a misunderstanding is no problem. Canvas's notifications might well have kept those students in the course, right? By helping them stay on top of it and letting both of us know that there was a problem with that project. Well, let's go into a course now, Mark, and take a look around.
Okay, so one thing you'll notice, do I have to go back to here? One thing you'll notice is that courses, they don't show up as they usually. What, you don't want to see our smiling faces?
That's right.
I'm hurt. You cut me deep.
People don't need to see our faces.
I enjoy the honesty.
That's right. So
Wrong lights. I guess the lights.
I'm not in control here. Tinkle, tinkle, tink. All the lights. Light the candles.
Yeah, I'm sure it will affect the video going out, but video guys, if you just want to stay on the screen, that'll be fine.
Remember, you can always come to us and we can give you the one on
Yeah,
the one or
yeah.
group for this.
So can you see it now?
I don't know that
How about
helps.
now?
Those lights are still pretty bright, but a little better.
Is it better? Okay.
Okay,
All
great.
right. Good to go then. So since you don't see your traditional list of courses, you mouse over courses right here and you'll see all the courses that you are enrolled in whatever level that is. Right? So I'm going to go into this one someday. There it is. Okay, so once you come into the course, the default course homepage is the same default, or like the course stream that is out there on the main page, except for it's the course stream for this one individual course. Again, relative to whoever your level is in whatever course. So as an instructor, you'll see things relevant to that. As a student, you'll see things relative to that. And so I can see that some people have turned in some assignments here. Also, like I said before, you'll notice that all the tools that you've come to expect are over here to the left. So everything you'll be used to is right here. Does that make sense? So that's how you get into a course.
Okay, so Mark, if we want to change that homepage, so maybe I just want to share my syllabus, send my students to the grade book or something. Can we change that?
Yeah, absolutely. So right above the page, there's the link. Yeah, thanks. Change homepage layout. And under change homepage layout, you have 5 separate options. So you'll be able to use any one of these options. The one that he's talking about is a page I'll design myself and update that. Okay, so this is a page that was already in there. So I can edit that page. Right?
So maybe I want to add a link to the grade books. I want them to check the grades each week too.
So I can just type in this box, and any piece of my course would be available.
You've got the whole thing selected.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah, watch out. Thanks for the warning. It's because I'm challenged with using this little pad here. So I want to do that. I could just come over here. This course navigation is a piece of my course, so I can just click there. Boom, got a link to the grades right there.
Excellent. Another great feature of Canvas is that you can actually import video, or actually embed video into a page. Thank you. So you can actually put in video to make it more interesting. Obviously, most teachers have used items from YouTube or other sort of video places. We'll show you how easy it is to embed a YouTube video into a Canvas page. We just come into YouTube, click on the address itself, click on the address at the top, and drag it into the page. And then once we save it, we will be able to actually watch the video embedded. It keeps the student focused in the course and not jumping out and going into YouTube and spending 2 hours doing who knows what. And there it is. We click on the link and it's playing in the class itself.
Once it's embedded, does it stay, but if it goes off of YouTube, you lose it as well? Or is it
Yeah, it is a direct link to the YouTube video, so if YouTube takes it down for copyright reasons, you will have to find a different option. But that should be pretty obvious within the page.
Yeah, you'll see, can't display this or whatever like that. So, but you'd have that problem even if you linked out to it. But this way it's embedded right in the course. Nobody has to leave. They don't have to go somewhere else and wander around. It's right in the course, embedded in the page that you've created.
You'll find a lot of the interfaces in Canvas do allow for drag and drop. One thing we forgot to put on that homepage is a link to the syllabus file. So we better go back and do that. That's probably the most used feature of Blackboard, and it will probably be the most used feature in Canvas too. And that's the ability to share digital files like a syllabus. So we make that larger.
So for adding any, so this is the most common question I got with Blackboard or anything else. How do I put my stuff in here? I don't know why people are so crazy about putting their own stuff in their own course, but they are. So if you want to, you can just come over here to the Files tab and open your course files. And all you need to do is just click on the file that you want in there. Boom, there's a link to it right there. So again, if I save changes, then it'll be a live link to my syllabus. If I were to click it, it would just open the syllabus. I'm not going to open it, but you see how that works. Simple.
Okay, so probably the next most used feature in the learning management system is the gradebook. Folks like to not only keep track of grades in Blackboard, now in Canvas, but also to be able to share those with the students in a private and secure manner. So let's look at the assignments feature in Canvas, which is where you actually set up anything that you're going to score or require students to do. So here in the assignments area, you'll see that we've set up some assignment groups, right? We've got readings and quizzes, assignments, lab work, and class discussion. Now we've got this selected so that the final grade is going to be automatically weighted based on these assignment groups. So we can add any number of individual assignments to these groups. Doesn't matter how many points they're worth individually, but you'll see on the right-hand side, we've got our final grade percentage set up to have certain weights for each of these groups.
Right, the most common thing that people would, in Blackboard, would say, well, I don't want to use the gradebook because I use micrograde. So they keep all their grades in there because they want to do weighting and scheduling like that. In here, if you just set up the assignment groups, you can go ahead and do your weighting right in here, regardless of how many assignments and how many points and anything like that.
And it's very, very easy to do things such as drop the lowest scores. All you have to do is for a certain assignment group, edit it and add what's called a grading rule. Then you can drop the lowest 1 score, 2 score, 10 scores, whatever was going to suit your grading scheme.
Yeah, in Blackboard, this was next to impossible. If you wanted to drop 1 score, easy. You want to drop 2, forget about it. You have to go get a PhD in math to do it. And in here, you just put in 2, drop those 2 scores, it's going to drop that out, including the weighting part. So you get the dropping and the weighting all in one thing.
Now in these assignment groups, we've set up some individual assignments for things that may not be graded, such as reading a chapter in a book, but we can also set up assignments for things that are graded. Of course, we can do the same kinds of online quizzes and exams that we did in Blackboard, as well as online submission of assignments. But if we just want to have another column in our gradebook, let's say so that we can create an in-class activity that we want to store some scores for, that's really easy to do. So Mark's going to add a new assignment here.
So you just add assignment to whatever group you need to use. The name of it's really easy. So what did you call it again?
Call it whatever. Let's call it experiment 1. Or essay number 3.
Thanks for that. It's both. Oh, except for I can't type. Nice. What essay number 4? And then, so very basic, you could, if you just want to just go in and just create things really easy, you can put in the name, you can put in the due date.
And remember, when you set a due date, that's going to automatically appear on the calendar, and it's going to populate that to-do list when it's coming up.
And how many points it's worth. And just update. Now, that's just putting the assignment in there. But there's a lot of other settings that you might want to look at. So under the More Options, there's a lot of different options that you can fill out. So what Jared's talking about is, in terms of online submission, what am I going to do if I just want to say, oh, this one's on paper, that's what I'm going to collect in class, I can do that. That's going to put a column in the gradebook. Versus in Blackboard when I used to have to go in and add a column and edit it that way.
Well, let's go into the gradebook and look how we would quickly add some scores. Let's say it was an in-class activity, something that we're not really collecting anything for, or maybe we are, but we're not collecting anything online. Let's go into the gradebook, take a look at what Canvas has to offer there. So based on those assignments, it's going to automatically create our columns. And to enter scores, all Mark has to do is click on a column and start typing. Throughout Canvas, you're going to find that saving things happens pretty much automatically. He doesn't have to click update the page or save the gradebook. It's saving as soon as he's done typing.
Excellent. Well, let's have a look at it from a student perspective. After he's finished adding a few grades here, and you can see there's a place for also adding comments. So this is what a teacher would see from a student point of view. Let's just go to there. Oops. Someone's calling us. Could it be Elvis? Okay, I'm going to log in. Again, you would use the same address, learn-uvu.uen.org. I'm going to log in. We're seeing it right now. Look at.
Yeah, if you're a teacher, the real answer from Instructure is that you're essentially seeing the student view. If you want to simulate a student, you're going to have to get a fake student into the system, which isn't impossible, and we can talk to you about that later.
Yeah, for most purposes, the view is quite similar. There's a couple instances where it's not, and you might want to come talk to us about that, and we can explore, what are your options.
Okay, so Carlos is in as a student. He's going to check out his grades.
So I'll go to grades here. And you can actually see, once it loads, I see my courses listed here sequentially. And again, there's a few good features that you may want to look at here. We have our grades. Apparently it's got a 20 and I got only 12, which is pretty bad. But if I want to see what my grade would have been if I would have higher score, I could actually type it in right now. And it can actually give you an approximate score. Clicking on this button down the bottom, calculate based on only graded assignments, will give you a running total for the semester. So a student can see where they are at any point of the semester, which is a great help compared to what Blackboard used to be.
Yeah, how many of you have students ask you middle of the term, what's my grade so far? What's my grade to date? Well, this gives them a good estimation. And that what if score, so students can look ahead and think, well, what do I really need to do in order to get that A? They can fill those in and get a sense of what that's going to take.
Yeah, and another thing that it also automatically runs the total for you. So you don't have to go in and add it in. And it also dynamically does that. So if you haven't entered scores for something, it doesn't add that into the percentage. Yes, ma'am. Well, we hadn't planned on it, so you're totally screwing us up. But yeah, go ahead. Just for you, Miranda.
I have two then. First is there something on here that we can print, like how on micrograde you could actually give them a printed copy of their grades? Just a yes or no is fine.
I think
Yes and no.
I think
you
no.
could
So
download it to a spreadsheet and you could put it up there. But
Print each one off that way.
Can we, yeah,
yeah,
Is I'm going on with you.
absolutely fabulous.
Students are not in there. Like Blackboard, our students were already listed. It says to add students.
We're doing they did a little trick on Canvas. They are actually in there. I'm not going to tell you how now, but I could tell you how to look at them. But supposedly over the weekend, automatically, they will be connected again.
Yeah, your students are in the Canvas shells. They will be able to access those courses as the semester begins.
Rick?
Is it possible to import a Blackboard shell?
Absolutely, we're gonna talk about that a little
Yeah,
bit
we'll
at the
talk
end.
about
Yep.
how and when you can do that, but yes.
Okay. Well, Mark's going to show us real quickly what it's like to grade in Canvas. And this is one of my favorite features. Canvas has built what's called the Speedgrader. And so he can access from the to-do list or by going into the assignments, any assignments that have some submissions for him to look at. So let's look at that paper draft. Yeah. And it shows that there are 2 that need grading. Now the speed view gives him a list of all of the students at the top left and says who has submitted and who hasn't. Clicking on any of those students' names will load their submission. And you can see here it's going to give you a preview, and this happens to be a Word doc, a preview of that Word doc in the main screen. So Mark can simply type in a score and maybe give him a text comment. You'll notice that there is a comment along with the assignment from the student that says, "Looking forward to your feedback." This discussion area, which is attached only to this assignment and is private between the student and the teacher, is kind of a nice way to negotiate meaning and to really get to the heart of matters surrounding an assignment. But one of the cool things here is that if you've got a webcam and a mic, you don't have to limit yourself to a text comment. Mark, show us how we can do a video comment real quick.
This is a flash place recorder, so just so you know. There we go.
Oh man,
There's Mark. So again, for certain
So I'm just
classes,
recording
this is a
comment?
great tool, and is available in not just here, but also in assignments, quizzes, and also discussions. So just think of the possibilities that you can do with this tool.
See how good that is?
Look at the quality. High def there, total all the way.
Save and be done.
Where's my stuff?
That's enough of Mark then.
Now, I think somebody did you lift up an iPad? Did you have an iPad there?
Right there.
Yep. Mark has an iPad too, the lucky dog. You can do your grading through the Speedgrader on an iPad app, and we're going to hook that up real quick to show you what that's like. Switched right over there for us. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was better than in rehearsal. If you go and you search Instructure or go to the iTunes store and search Instructure, you can get this little app that will do Instructure. Once you log into it just like you do Canvas. You'll have your list of courses right here. And so it's just for the Speedgrader part of it. But if I click the individual course, it's going to bring up all my assignments in my course. And then if I go to an individual assignment, it's going to bring up that same Speedgrader like we kind of saw in the web application.
I don't know how much you've used this, Mark, but I've heard some faculty say that the iPad interface is actually better than the web-based interface for the Speedgrader.
You know, I like them both. They're the thing that it's in your iPad, so it's really nice. You can just sit there anywhere, you know, on the bus. Like my bus has wireless, so does Rick's.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So we just sit on there and you can just go ahead and do it. But I can just click right here. I can say, okay, there's the score. I forgot what this is.
Mark's
Out of
using a
10.
rubric. Canvas also has a rubric tool, and you can attach a rubric to one or multiple assignments, so you can reuse rubrics. You can even reuse rubrics beyond a single course. So let's say there are some learning outcomes that your department or your program is setting, and you want to share rubrics. You can set that up as well.
Yeah, and it works really quick. So
It's
Speedgrader. It's the Instructure Speedgrader app. You just search either Instructure or Speedgrader on the iTunes store. You should be able to find it. If not, come over and we'll help you out.
Now, Mark's been showing the Speedgrader for online assignment submissions. There are a number of different other ways that you can tweak student assignments. You can make groupings and make group assignments. You can require peer review, and Canvas will automatically redistribute student submissions to the rest of the class for review. And the students would use your same rubric as well. You can also do collaborative work with Google Docs. So I'm going to have Carlos show us that.
I have to switch back to right.
Oh, let's switch back to the screen. But how many people here use Google Docs? Hands up. I can see a fair few.
Since it's dark, I'm going to say everybody.
Everyone loves Google Docs. And the beauty of Google Docs is it allows collaboration. Google keeps a track of the changes in the system. And as a student, if you link your Google account to it, you can come to Collaborations. And instead of going into Google Docs itself and creating a document and then sharing it with your students manually, you can come here, and I'm logged in as a student, click on New Collaboration, name of document, I'll just put document, but in really original here, and then select who I want to share it with. So I'm going to share it with everyone.
All the people that are in the class that can be participants in this collaboration.
And that includes teachers.
The here is that you don't have to collect Google accounts from your students. They don't have to collect them from their classmates. It's going to base this off of the Canvas enrollments. And if they have a Google account, great, it's going to sync it already. If they don't, it's going to send them an invitation.
Yep. So I'm just going to sign into my account. There's a document I've created, but obviously you can see in the list, there's an actual document already there that we created earlier. If I click into this, there's some information that I've put in. Mark's in there, he's actually put in some comments, and as well as multiple people can be working on this, and Google will actually keep a copy of all the changes that are there. So it's a really multifaceted tool that's great for collaboration and working in groups.
Yep. And when Carlos and his group are done working on their paper, they can submit it through one of the assignment tools. Mark may have set up an assignment specifically for this paper draft. Carlos would simply go into that assignment and choose that Google Doc. It's that easy. Well, that was just a quick demo of some of Canvas's features and how you would get around. At this time, we'd like to invite some faculty up to share what they have done or they've been working on in Canvas. We have Glen Clark and Diane McAdams-Jones and Anton Tulman. Would you guys mind coming up? Whoever gets here first will go first. So I'm going to log out here.
My name is Glen Clark. I'm from the School of Education. And first of all, I really appreciate the fact that not too many people read the fine print in Wilson's email that said there'd be a drawing at the end for those that were here for a trip to Hawaii. So it really increases our odds, those of us that are still here. I was asked to teach a distance education course, an online course at the School of Education this summer. And I had the opportunity to be able to work with distance education and create the program through Canvas. I am not a tech person. So I think they looked at the faculty and said, who's the oldest guy, who's the poorest on technology, we'll have him do it. So Glenn did it, and I just had a great experience with it. Able to embed videos, links to articles, different things like that. But what I wanted to talk about was from a teaching point of view, some of the things that outside of the management that I found were really benefits to us. So I've kind of talked about the 5 Ps of Canvas and teaching. So let's go to the first slide. The first slide that I found, the first idea that I found is the idea of participation. When I was in school, I was the type that would sit at the back or in the middle, never raise my hand, never participate. You guys all see those in your classes. We always wonder, how can we increase their participation? I found through this that I was really able to increase the participation. Students had to, through the discussions, be able to participate and work with us, be able to share their ideas. And so students who may have normally just sat in a class, not participated, were now having a chance to have their voice heard by the professor and other students. So can't get away with sitting in the back. Next slide, please. Okay, team-based learning, before I leave this one. Many of you may have had the chance over the last couple of years to see the presentation by Larry Michelson here on campus with team-based learning. I think there are a lot of tools in Canvas that would really work well with that approach, where again, teams of students will be able to learn together and be able to present answers to you as the faculty member with that. One area on participation is the idea of pre-assessment. Most of us end up giving students reading assignments. We always wonder, do our students really read? Do they really understand what we want them to get out of that reading? Simply through the discussion part of Canvas, you could post up a question that would help you be able to understand, did they understand what I want them to from the reading? If they've understood it through the dialogue and the discussion back and forth, you can then skip that part of your presentation and move to a different part. So again, valuable class time can be preserved by that. Okay, post-assessment. You finish your class now and you wonder, did they really get it? Did they get what I want to have them do it out? Have them receive from that class. So again, by posting the question on the discussion board and getting the students' dialogue back and forth, you can again assess whether they were able to get the information or not. Okay, next, Jared. The next one, they talked about this one. I love the Speedgrader and the ability to provide feedback. I could give it specific. I could give it timely. As soon as those assignments came in, the students got it back. They didn't have to wait for the next class period or 2 class periods for the papers to come back to them. It came back immediately. I could, again, be very specific. One of the little things I loved is it also had a spot where if there was a common comment, you could click on that and then put it into several feedback if you're going to use the same feedback. But again, the feedback was very, very good. Okay. The final one that I talked about when we think about the importance of teaching, the final P was the idea of praise.
Through that discussion, I found out that just like in a classroom, you may want to recognize students' contributions. Sometimes you're hesitant, will it embarrass the student, or do you want to be able to praise them in front of the students? Through this, you had the choice of some of the praise could come back simply on the individual dialogue, on an assignment, or on a discussion contribution they made, or you could go ahead and post that general comment so the whole class would be able to see it also. That would, again, get other students thinking deeper and say, hey, this is the type of comment that the professor wants to see, not the more superficial things. So again, as I looked at those 5 Ps, I felt like it was a very, very important tool and a real strength from using Canvas in increasing our teaching as well.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Who's next? Diane? No. You're fine.
I'm fine, yeah, I am.
You're fine.
Okay, for them to ask me to show you what I've been doing is really being kind, because I've been bugging them for 6 years. And I go over and I sit with them, and they just, I know, they claim they love it. I hope they do, because they handle me well over there. I have to say that because I've been told that I don't always sound kind, that I sound a little commandeering and a little domineering, and it's probably the military background. But the long and the short of it is these 3 men handle me very well, and I just enjoy going over there and working. There's a nice office space in the back of the library. You go there and you just sit, and it's in your own quietude, and I don't feel stupid. It's not like my kids going, oh, Ma, I told you that 5 minutes ago, and then they're very nice to me there. So I enjoy going there. And one time I was in my office actually working on something they had showed me probably last week. I was trying to do it, and I couldn't figure it out. And I kept, the State Farm commercial where you say, they stand there and they say State Farm after the accident, and the State Farm man shows up? This actually happened to me. I was working in my office, I couldn't figure it out, and then I was talking on the telephone to Jared, and I looked up at my door and he was standing right there. And I said, well, how did you get here? He said, well, I knew you were having trouble and I couldn't really see what you were doing, so I just thought I'd come over here and help you out. So it's that kind of help that I think is magnanimous, it's phenomenal, and I just thank the UVU for hiring such a staff as this. What I've been doing since I've been working with them for Canvas, I've got 2 of my courses on here. This one I have, guess I hit it right. Yeah, there it goes. And I've loaded all my lectures, all my exams. A lot of things he's talking about, the gentleman that just was here talking about that you can do on Canvas. You actually could do that on Blackboard, the grading system and what have you. I think probably myself and 1 or 2 faculty on the nursing department probably also did that on Blackboard, but it was a little bit difficult for the students to catch up with a lot of things that we did on Blackboard because there was so much you can do. Same here with Canvas, there's so much you can do. And I don't know if I can, well, yeah, hold the mic. There you go, yeah. Okay, so I've got a letter to the students here. I've got the course calendar. I've got the sections defined so they'll understand them. I've got the student handbook there because, they always say, well, I didn't know that. Well, there's the student handbook, classroom and clinical syllabi. I have 2 syllabi because we go to the clinical area and we're also in the classroom, so I had to make 2. And then a learning styles inventory because I like for them to see how they learn. I like Dr. Felder, he's my favorite. All of their APA paper assignments, their weekly assignments over in the clinical session are there, and all those will be graded on Canvas and the Speedgrader. I don't have to touch them. And then the second section's APA papers and what have you. And then all of my assignments, all of my weekly assignments are right here. All the student has to do is go right there and click. I have tried everything to incorporate information to give to my students. I've tried packets. I've tried the gamut. And there's always a complaint. So, you know, I figured it out. What they consider organized is if you give it to me right there where I can see it and it's all right in one place. So, you know, I loaded it all up and put it under each section. So hopefully I don't have to go anywhere but right here to find it. I'm going to pull up my cardiovascular. And what I want to show you is takes just a few minutes to load. I've put all the links in here, so they don't even have to go and look in their notebook that I would hope they'd put their papers in. They don't have to go there. They can just go and click on their links, and it's right there. They can click on it, and they can be there, and you know how they multitask, so they can go over to Facebook and answer their friends, and they can come back over here and read. So I thought this was just a great feature, which I have done it in Blackboard as well, but I thought Canvas, I'll just put everything right there. They don't have to go anywhere. It's all in one place. And I just like to say that it has been wonderful working with these three guys, and Daniel is the fourth guy. I could not have done any of this had it not been for them, and you all have handled me very well. Thanks.
Anton? All right, and finally we have Anton Tulman from the Faculty Center. You probably know Anton. I'm going to log out here real quick for you. Anton is the definition of what we call the early adopter. He was right on board with Canvas, and I know he's shared the message of love with a lot of his colleagues.
We try.
And I can hold this for you.
Okay. This is going to be a little harder because I didn't know they were going to put a glitch in the system and take out all the student enrollments. So what I might do is I might also go here and open up the sandbox. Where's the home button on here? Is it Canvas Instructor or Instructor Canvas?
It's going to be canvas.instructor.com.
What I'm going to show you is that there's an awful lot of things you can do with Canvas that is so much easier to do than you could do in Blackboard. I'll also share with you, I've been using Canvas now for 2 semesters, spring and summer. And the students, by and large, about 90% of the students, I've asked them for feedback. And they will say to me, we love Canvas so much better than Blackboard. It's so much easier for them to find things. They get personally notified when they, however they've set that up in their notifications. They love the whole calendar, and the way I set up my home pages, you'll see here, they're not finished yet, so you're going to get an unfinished one. But you can really see that they just love knowing what's coming up and what they have to do next. And so I actually put the cover of the book on there so they know which book they're supposed to be looking at. There's the link to the syllabus. I also have 2 embedded links I created through Jing, in which I show them actually how to upload their assignments and everything, so it makes it easy for them to get quickly up to speed on that. But there's their assignments and the dates they're due, and they can just click on those and be taken right to the assignment. They really love that as well. Another of the features they have over on the side is People. And when you click on People, that's how you manage all of the students and the announcements, you know, individual data you have on people and so on. You can create student groups and teams. And so you can set this up, and this is the problem, is I had this all set up to do something, and now it's gone. But I can show you in the other system. It's to create, this is my summer course. To create student groups is a piece of cake, because if you go over here to view student groups, like most things in Canvas, when you want to add something, there's a big green plus. You just click on the plus. So I have here some students that for some reason it's listing as not assigned, and so if I wanted to create a new group with those students, I just click on plus. You can see I had a lot of others. And I'm going to give them a name. Now I need, there we go. So class team 6. And then I can just drag and drop the students into that group, right? And it's just a piece of cake. What that will do is, if you notice on the right side, it also creates a separate area for them where they can have their own team information. So You can see I set up study groups here. I have teams, which are in class, and then groups, which are study groups outside of class. But so if you go to that team, they have their own page. You can post discussion messages for them to think on in their own teams. You can they can have their own files where they're sharing files or information, stuff that they're uploading for their other teammates to see. And the pages in Canvas refers to wikis. So you don't even have to leave to go to Google Docs. Depending upon what you're doing, you can do that as they showed you. But you can also click on pages, and they can have their own wiki for their own team. The only people that will see it is the instructor and their team members. And so I use this in my interviewing class because what they do is they do a series of interviews across the semester, and they need to critique each other's interviews. These are videotaped interviews of them talking to other students. And so the really nice thing about that is that they can post those, and it's confidential, right? The other students and the other teams aren't going to see those reviews. I'm going to see them, and their teammates are going to see them. And that's how it's supposed to work. And I don't have to, I used to get stacks of papers that I would have to manually and physically go through and grade in order to give them their feedback on those. But it's really nice that you don't have to do that. And of course, like all wikis, you have a kind of a default one that you can create. But once you've created that or saved that, then you can add to it, and you can create multiple pages. You can do all kinds of things. So it really facilitates using teams and groups in the classes. It's easy to set it up, and then you can use those to give them specific information that's targeted to their group or their assignment or whatever you need to do.
Thanks so much, Anton. Thanks also to Diane and Glenn. We really appreciate you sticking around. I'm just going to toss up our contact information slide. Again, we are offering workshops every single week. Fridays, 12 to 2 on the half hour if you just want to come in and get another overview, or more in-depth workshops throughout the semester. Check our website, uvu.edu/innovation.
All right, thank you very much.